So we're on the floor today because I don't feel like... Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Kaylin K, and you are chilling with us over here at Her Faith Unfiltered. Today's episode is going to be video number 6 to the Changing Your Faith series. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about how you can come before the Lord. What's off limits? What can you ask? All that good stuff. So let's get started. Before we get started, it has been brought to my attention that y'all are watching and liking, but you're not subscribing. This is a series, which means these videos need to be paired together. So how are you going to pair them together if you don't follow me? Because there have been a lot of people I watch. Yeah, you can go through your history and find the channel that you watch, but like, you want to be subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Subscribe. Leave me a comment down below. How is the Lord blessing you through this series? What are you learning? What didn't you know that now you do know after watching this? And all that good stuff. So comment down below, hit that notification bell, subscribe, make sure you're notified when I post, and make sure to look in the description box for all my socials and stuff like that because you want to follow me. Okay, so anyway, let's get into it. All right, so coming before the Lord. When I first became a Christian, I really thought that there were certain things that were off limits to talk to God about, and it was from a religious background, if you'd say. And to be honest, it kept me from praying the way that I wanted to pray to God. And knowing what I know now, I know that there's nothing that's off limits for you to talk with God about. And I want to be very transparent in this moment because I feel like people can say a lot of things, but until you pair it with a particular topic, nobody's really going to take you seriously. So I'm going to give you an example of a time and period in my life where I had to be honest with God, and that if I didn't have that experience, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you now about the importance of really laying it out before God and really showing him how you feel. I would really love to say that I was the perfect cookie cutter Christian when it came to praying, but I wasn't, because I never met anybody that really taught me how to pray. I knew how to pray, but I didn't really know how to pray, if that makes sense. So let's go back to when my father passed away. When my daddy passed away, I was so hurt. I was so confused. I didn't know why God was doing what he was doing. And with me being, 18 in college and just in this big transition of life, I found myself saying, well, Lord, he's in a better place, when I would begin to pray and begin to try to make sense of what was going on. And one day I got so tired of saying he's in a better place. One day saying that was just not enough. And I got upset with God. Why did you take my father? I am 18. There are things that he needed to teach me that he was not able to teach me. I don't believe that he was done on this earth. I believe he had more to do. I believe that he had a ministry of his own to live. Even before I really came to God like that, I knew my father's business wasn't finished. And all these things that I suppressed finally bottled up, and I went off one night in prayer, and I cussed, I fussed all to God. And I was like, I don't understand why you're doing this. If you're punishing me for the way that I'm living, I don't want to serve you anyway, because I want to do what I want to do. And in me doing what I wanted to do, I kind of felt like I'm not even wilding like some of these people are out here. Let's be honest. I did what I did, but it wasn't nearly as close to the people my age, what they were doing. And so I felt like, in my ignorance as a believer but not believer in the world, lukewarm, because I was. When lo and behold, my father didn't die because of my sin. He didn't do that. He had things of his own that were going on, which led to his death. But in my new baby believer mind and in my walk, I just assumed because I was doing wrong, this was a hit for the Lord to get me to get back on track. I didn't have anybody to tell me that that was just not the case, nor did I express that to other people, honestly. But in this, I learned from that moment on, I can be honest with God. And I took that moment into my walk now with the Lord. And I remember when I finally started taking God seriously, I remember I was watching Morgan Tracy J. If you don't follow her on YouTube, you need to, at His Daughter's Closet Ministry. She's phenomenal. She speaks on journaling in the morning, like in your morning time with God, getting up and just having your Bible and a journal and just writing. And how we can feel like we're okay and that we're good, but when we begin writing, things that we didn't know that we are feeling begin to come out on paper. And I began doing that. And I was so hungry for meeting the Lord that I said, I'm going to wake up early in the morning before I go to work, and I'm going to worship, turn on my worship instrumentals, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to hear from God. I was determined. I didn't care how long it would take. I didn't know it would be that day. And one of the first things that God had established with me when I heard his voice audibly and knew that it was God for that first time, I had written in my notebook that I felt like when I sinned, I couldn't come talk to God. And the first thing God ever told me was, who told you that? Who told you you couldn't come to me? Who told you you had to hide from me when you sinned? Who told you that you can't talk to me when you do wrong? And it reminded me of Adam and Eve. Who told you you were naked? Because I never told you that. God had enforced in me that I never told you that you couldn't come to me when you sinned, Kaylin. I never told you that when you did wrong, you couldn't talk to me. I never told you that. What I told you was be honest and open with me. You take your perception and your relationships with other adults and authoritative figures in your life and you apply it to your walk with God. Little do you know, God is like, I'm not them. I never established this relationship with you that you were basically mute to me when you did wrong. I never told you that. So why do you think I want you to be quiet when you're speaking with me? Why do you can't really express yourself. That's being quiet when you're talking to God. When you really can't truly express how you feel deep down. And God does not want that. He wants you open and he wants you honest. Like the day I was yelling at him about my dad, I was cussing, I was fussing, I was crying, I was sneezing, I was snotting, I was infuriated. And in the back of my head, I'm like, don't talk to God like this. You're going to die. He's going to strike you down, all this stuff. But I said, no, because if you're my Father who sits in heaven, I should be able to communicate with you how I'm feeling, no matter how it comes out. In that stage in my life, it was cussing, it was fussing, it was screaming. That's where I was, and that's how I used to communicate when I was a lukewarm Christian. Being in Christianity now, and one of the first things he ever spoke to me saying, who told you that you couldn't come to me? I had to rewire my relationship with the Lord. And that took time because even after he gave me that revelation and I knew that it was the voice of God, I still would do things that I knew were sin and try to hide away. And he's like, what are you doing? Or when I wouldn't pray for him and he'd be like, where were you? You know, all that, even though God knows it. But I learned to be repentful and be honest about being repentful, but also be honest about my emotions. If I feel this way, then I feel this way. And that's just how I feel. God wants to know how you feel. So there's literally nothing that you can't talk to God about. Y'all, I have journaling notes with cuss words. I've prayed things sometimes and I've said some words and I've stopped and like, God, did I say that? I'm so sorry. But if that's where you are, that's where you are. You can't get to the Christian lifestyle you want to get to if you're being fake right now, because God's going to check you. Is that really how you feel? Is that really how you feel about me? You sure you aren't mad? Are you sure this makes you happy? God's going to check you because this has to be an honest, open relationship. Sometimes it's not all peachy key. Sometimes you're going to go through some stuff and you got to tell him, yo, God, this is whack, but you're teaching me something. Or, yo, God, this is whack. The enemy's doing too much for me right now. I need you to get in the ring with this thing. Or I'm just in a season right now that, God, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing, but I trust you. And you speak that. Tell God when you're mad. Tell God when you're angry. Tell him when you're sad. Tell him when you're not feeling your best. It doesn't always have to be you talking to God when good things are happening around you, because sometimes good things aren't happening. Let's be honest right now. Sometimes good things don't always be happening. But is he still worthy? Yes. Does he still deserve the glory? Yes. Does he still deserve the praises? He does. But you will never understand that to full capacity if you aren't truly honest with God and knowing who he is. There's nothing off limits when you want to talk to God. There is absolutely nothing you cannot talk to God about. He is your Father. He made you. He's closer than a brother to you. If you want to talk to him about boy problems, if you want to talk to him about, your sexual life, what you do, how you feel, all these things, you talk to him about it because you're going to get an unperverted, listen to me, you're going to get an unperverted feedback from the maker. He's going to tell you what you need to do in a situation, but it is also up to you to listen and to apply it. Because simply, it can't just be us venting to God and talking to him about everything, but then when he comes back to give us the advice that we need, not applying it. Communication goes both ways. It's not just you talking to him and then getting up and going, you know, God is going to respond back to you, whether it's audibly, whether it's you just hearing him, your spirit man, even confirming through his word. But you have to be susceptible to that. It's not just one-way communication. It's two-way communication. Get out of the stigma of he's like every other authoritative figure in your life and just speak to him. Daddy, I'm pissed. Daddy, I'm angry. Daddy, I'm disgusted. I don't feel well. I hate this. This is stupid. I'm not understanding. They make me feel X, Y, and Z. And let God give you his feedback on it. Let God tell you what's going on. Let God tell you what to do. There's nothing off limits when you want to talk to God. There's absolutely nothing off limits. And the more in the minute you understand that, the better your walk with God will be, because you'll understand this is not a circumstantial relationship. It's a everything relationship. I hope this video blessed your life. I hope it gives you some insight. And maybe if you're going through this right now, comment down below. Did you know that you can talk to God about anything and it'd be okay? So I love you all. I will see you all in my next video. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.